It's Monday, which means today is the day that I'm answering your questions about marketing, copywriting, business building, and more. This is Breakthrough Marketing Secrets. I'm Roy Furr, and for today's Mailbox Monday question, here's what I have. Hi, Roy. My good pal keeps reminding me that copywriting, even the direct response kind, and my job is at risk of being replaced by AI. At first, I found it hard to believe, but as a direct response copywriter, part of me worries that if it's possible. What's your take? So what do you think? Leave a comment with this episode. If you're not watching on YouTube, pop over to my YouTube channel, leave a comment, and just sound off. What are your thoughts? What are your fears? What are your worries? What are your disbeliefs about AI? Also, don't forget to like, share, subscribe, do everything you can to engage with this episode, because one part of AI that is ultra powerful is the algorithms that help dictate which content that we see. And when you like, comment, share, subscribe, number one, you get more content like this delivered to you. And number two, those magical algorithms of the internet will share this content with more people like you who will find it valuable. All that said, I will say that AI bot comments are not welcome. I've had plenty on my channel. They are obvious spam. And I delete the comments and I ban the user accounts that posted those comments. Oh, and by the way, if you have a question that you'd like to have answered, the link is in the description. It's at breakthroughmarketingsecrets.com/ask. And check that link out and you can submit your question for it to potentially be answered in an upcoming Mailbox Monday episode. So with that, let's go ahead and dive into today's episode. These are the proven direct response marketing, copywriting, and entrepreneurship success strategies you can use today to write your own ticket and create the life you want. I am Roy Furr, and this is Breakthrough Marketing Secrets. Now, here's today's breakthrough. All right, so today's episode, as usual, is sponsored by me, by yours truly. I want you to check out, I just opened up access to a web class that I recorded on how to create breakthrough big idea copy. How to create breakthrough big idea copy. And here's what it comes down to. Every $1 million sales letter or multi-million-dollar sales letter is based on one of three big idea types. And in this web class, I broke down what they are, how to know if you come up with a big idea based on one of these three big idea types, if your big idea is good, and the deep structure of highly effective sales copy, basically what to say after you introduce the idea to convert the interest that it generates into conversions, into sales, into money in the bank. And you can unlock 3 days of personal access to this by checking out the link in the description to how to create breakthrough big idea copy. All right, so let's dive into today's question. First, I have a little sidebar based on that comment in the question of my good pal keeps reminding me that copywriting and my job is at risk of being replaced by AI. I think this is an example, and this happens a lot in life, of your good pal not necessarily being a good pal in that moment. Yes, a good pal is going to warn you of risk, but if they keep reminding you over and over again, that's not just a friendly warning. That's somebody who is not helping you, not providing support and helping you find solutions. They're kind of cutting you down. And if somebody is being a good pal, I would lean towards that person's behavior is not going to be reflective of cutting you down. It sounds like this person is kind of presenting themselves as providing support on one hand, while on the other hand, it really kind of cutting the support out from underneath you. And I don't like that. Like I would say, thanks for your opinion. And I will take that into consideration and I will make my own decisions. Thank you very much. And I just worry if this is something that they bring up often because that does not feel very supportive. All right, so if we're going to dive into this whole AI copywriting thing, I have to start with my own experience because there was a bunch of AI copywriting software that launched about a year ago and there was a bunch of hype about it. And there has continued to be a bunch of hype about it. And I decided to give it a try. So I was in the middle of a client project and I had a VSL written, a video sales letter. I had this long script written. And I figured, okay, so what I'm really looking for in this particular instance is I want I need to write some emails to drive traffic to this video sales letter. And what can I do to like dump this copy? Because what a good copywriter needs to do in that instance is to look into that VSL and say, okay, what are the stories? What are the interesting points? What are the interesting things that I can tease in that copy in the main sales message? And how can I pull those out of the main sales message to write a sales letter or an email that is going to push traffic to the sales letter? And so I wanted that help with those emails. And number one, I very quickly realized that at a limitation of like, I don't remember exactly what it was. It was like 100 words or something. There was no way that I was going to be able to give it the thousands of words that represented the video script. And any attempt to summarize what was in the video script was going to significantly underrepresent the valuable content that was in there. So the input that I was required to put in was not even reflective of the call to action that I wanted to make. But I tried anyway. And the tools basically spit out garbage. It was terrible. At first I did, I was hoping to make it work. So I tried to rewrite what the tools spit out. And then eventually I thought I just wasted a whole bunch of time. And so I started over without that AI software. I just said, all right, I'm starting at square one. I'm starting with a blank page. What did I say in that VSL again? And how am I going to write these emails? And then I cranked out the emails and they were great. And maybe that AI software, as it stands right now, is good enough for like SEO articles, that sort of thing, or super basic product copy. But especially if you're talking SEO articles, watch out, because the software that Google uses to detect whether a piece of content is written by a human or a computer, which this is something that AI is really good at. We'll talk about that in a minute. But the software that Google uses to detect whether that content is written by a human or a computer, if it catches you using computers to create content you're trying to use to get search engines to send traffic to you, it won't only not list that content, but it will penalize your entire site and your rankings. And you may lose rankings in Google search results because you tried to use AI to create content to drive traffic. So yeah, maybe you could write those articles, but really, they're not there yet, in my experience. Like, nothing that I was able to get that artificial intelligence software to spit out was there yet. And even recently, I've been doing some stuff inside Google Ads, and they have one particular feature where you give them a URL and they like grab important phrases from the page. What I found was that them grabbing important phrases from the page was only, I don't know, the phrases that they pulled out were maybe relevant 60% of the time, right? Yes, okay, that was kind of useful that you pulled some phrases, you pulled some sentences out of this page that I could use in an ad, but man, it missed almost as much as it hit. So there are a lot of shortcomings of AI copywriting software as I see it currently. One of the big things is that there is minimal input allowed, especially the software platforms that exist explicitly to write copy. Unlike Google, which is give us this entire web page and we will find an important sentence that's already written. The software that says we're going to write copy for you, it doesn't allow you to put in much information. Unlike a copywriter that can take in reams of research and then synthesize the information, identify the most important ideas, synthesize the information, structure it in a way that makes sense and that is compelling. The AI copywriting software does not even attempt to do anything close to that. And because of that minimal input, the output is extremely basic. It tends to be very direct, generic brand copy. It's like benefits and features, right? And there is a place for benefits and features, but really in terms of high quality, high value copywriting, it's not there. I don't even see it as first draft copy. It's maybe draft 0.5. And at best, from what I'm seeing from AI, now I recognize that everybody who's an AI enthusiast has things like the Moore's Law, and they say computers are getting are getting twice as fast and twice as powerful every 18 months to 24 months. And like what computers will be capable of in however much time is going to be exponentially greater than they are capable of today. I know, I get that. And everything that I'm seeing so far says that, it's just missing the mark. It's like, it is not even first draft. It's maybe draft 0.5, and it still has such a long way to go. Now, I do think this can be used to help a human copywriter. So good copywriters who are using it that I've heard from are really only using it like this. So it's about speed to first draft. It's about quantity of output, and they're doing things with the artificial intelligence, the AI copywriting software that pull out just that draft 0.5, 0.5 copy, and then they are editing. And as somebody who has struggled with getting first drafts out, I definitely get that. I understand that. And that can speed up your process, and it can lead to more copy and better copy in the long run. It's not like it's replacing those copywriters, or and those copywriters also don't believe that it's going to replace them anytime soon. So, is AI going to kill copywriting? Well, the best case studies for it are often things like a subject line. Like this AI copywriter wrote a subject line that got more open rates than our best copywriter. Okay, great. So short, often kind of empty, direct copy, maybe. So subject lines, tiny ads, maybe some benefit copy. Yeah, okay, great. The AI copywriter can do that stuff. When there's no personality or idea behind the copy, maybe the AI copywriter can shine. And then maybe tactically, like when I say tactically, I mean like the wording of the copy versus the ideas of the copy. An AI copywriter may be able to generate some really good tactical like wording of copy, and in that sense could be really useful. What AI really doesn't do, and doesn't seem to be anywhere close to doing, and some people doubt that it's going to ever happen, is AI doesn't seem to be able to really synthesize ideas, think for itself, and have creative inspiration and connections in the way that any good copywriter or writer in general is able to do. Great quote from Mark Ford, aka Michael Masterson, specifically about my writing was, he said, and this is paraphrasing, I've often said that great nonfiction writing is great thinking. And he was saying that my writing was great. And what that is, like in the relevance here to AI, is that if the AI does not have great thinking, it's not going to be able to create content that feels like great writing. It will be able to create some effective content, some effective marketing messages. But that thinking is an X factor, and it's the difference between really successful copy and kind of workhorse copy that basically just does the job. And so that really successful copy, the complex messages involved, the positioning involved, like all that thinking, storytelling involved based on getting to know the people, pulling the stories out of people that they don't know to tell themselves, and looping that all in a narrative that combines emotion and logic. Like that is great thinking. And that's something that is nowhere close to what AI can do. And like right now, what AI is doing primarily is analyzing word patterns of successful advertisements and trying to replicate those word patterns as they are relevant to the features and benefits of your product. And great thinking is not word patterns. And this is something that I've talked about with copywriters. You can study all the headline formulas that you want, but if you don't have that powerful big idea behind your copy, it doesn't matter what headline formula you use. Likewise, if you do have that powerful big idea behind your copy, sometimes it doesn't matter so much what headline formula you use. It's all about the idea behind it. It's all about the thinking behind it. And so like a great copywriter is consistently bringing strategic thinking about what's going to be said, about how the copy is going to be used, about the context that it's going to be used, about the different pieces of the campaign versus just putting some words on the page. And this AI copywriting software is nowhere close to being able to do that. Now, with all this said, I am actually optimistic for AI. AI is already great at complex, repeatable tasks. So if it, like complex tasks that's repeatable, that that may require a lot of tangible decision making, like if A, then do this, if B, then do this, like those types of things that can be programmed into algorithms, or that algorithms can learn and essentially program into themselves. Yeah, AI is great at that. Things like pattern recognition. So, I mentioned earlier that if you like, comment, share, subscribe, then you're going to get more content like this delivered to you. And the algorithms of the internet will share this content with people like you who will find it valuable. Well, the way that they do that is by saying, oh, this person liked these 3 videos and they liked video number 4. Well, this other person has liked these 3 videos. They'll probably like video number 4. And the algorithms of the internet are doing this pattern recognition and saying like, okay, like it's sharing things based on shared likes and recognizing patterns of behavior. Even I'm a huge optimist if we as humans can get over ourselves for self-driving cars. Actually, self-driving cars have a far better safety record per mile already than humans, because they can use cameras that are constantly scanning in all directions, and they can avoid collisions in ways that human beings would never be able to. I just saw this video of Tesla that had driver assist mode on, and this person started to drive at a green light, and they pulled out into the intersection, and then the car stopped, and another car whipped in and T-boned the car that was next to the Tesla on the other side of the Tesla, and actually rolled the other car. And the accident, the Tesla itself, was prevented from being in a very major accident because the pattern recognition of the self-driving algorithm of the Tesla, or driver assist algorithm, knew that there was an imminent collision and was able to protect the driver and the car. So pattern recognition is great. Also massive data processing. Man, the biggest AI algorithms can just churn through data and find interesting tidbits, etc. And it's something that humans just can't replicate at all. AI can process things like biological slides in medicine, the type of work that a pathologist does, and recognize like cancer cells that are not there, or that are maybe hard for a human to recognize. And there's all sorts of different examples of that, facial recognition, etc. And I do think that AI may eventually be pretty good at some writing. Some things that are great examples of this is, I would bet that AI is going to eventually be really good at collecting and organizing freely available information around a topic, like the same kind of information that you could research. The AI could collect, organize, synthesize that information, but it's going to be very topic focused. It's not going to come up with the creative connections that a human is currently able to do, because our brains are still like way more powerful of computers than AI is. Also, things like research articles. I need research on this topic, and actually this would be great for copywriters. Hey, I want all the best research available on this particular topic, all the best research available on this particular company and their investment prospects. I want all the best research available on whatever it is, right? And the AI goes out, finds it, synthesizes it, and you have it back within like 5 minutes. Like, it would not surprise me if AI is eventually able to do that. So like any kind of summaries of available information, like these are reasons to be optimistic for AI, even in the writing realm. But AI will always be And any computing will always be reflective of the saying that actually comes from computing: garbage in, garbage out. For one, AI is only as good as the person who programmed it. So, for example, there's been many cases of algorithms that have actually manifested racist behavior, like cultural biases that were not even intended to be programmed into it, but because like it was programming that data, it manifested this behavior, and people were like, "Whoa, like what's going on here?" And yeah, okay, maybe it's just reflecting ourselves back at us, right? But it is only as good as the data going into it. The other thing is like garbage in, garbage out. If all you're able to put in, if all you're really able to feed in is things like features and benefits, okay, that's what you're going to get out of it, right? But if AI can't capture like stories and ideas in the same way, and can't connect stories and ideas, and can't use metaphors to explain an idea, AI is going to really struggle to write like a human. And the reality is that people want to buy from people. And I think AI and like creative work, creative artistry, creative writing, and performance are going to be the things that are going to most consistently be able to survive any kind of development in AI, because of this desire of humans to engage with humans. Like, we as humans want to engage with human beings. And the way that that's going to show up in copy is things like storytelling, which is already huge in copy. Like, writing great stories is a great way to be a great copywriter, because people respond to stories, because again, people want to buy from people. And it is hard to pull that out of people if you're just talking to them, if you're interviewing them. And I think AI is still going to struggle with how to incorporate that into any kind of writing for any foreseeable future. And AI is always going to rely on input. And so the quality of the output is always going to be limited by the input. Now, maybe eventually some great copywriters will be designing the algorithms, and they're going to know to look for this stuff and to program this in, and AI is going to continue to grow. And I'm sure it will continue to grow, and I'm sure it will continue to get better. And what if I'm wrong? What if I'm wrong? Well, one thing I'll say for those of you watching this in spring of 2022, it's not happening anytime soon. It's really not happening anytime soon. The distance between what a good copywriter can do and what a good AI copywriting algorithm or piece of copywriting software can do is just huge. And good copywriters are still needed to turn AI output into good copy. And even when AI is churning out much better copy, great copywriters are going to adapt. So if you get great at copywriting today, you're going to find a way to use what AI is doing to your advantage. You're going to use your creative thinking to essentially massage the machine and get the machine to do things that maybe you wouldn't have even been able to do just as a copywriter. So one example of that is in the world of paid advertising right now. There's this change going on between, originally it was, I'm telling the algorithms, it was barely algorithms compared to what they are today, but I'm telling the machine who to go put my ads in front of. And more today, what's happening is I'm maybe giving the machine some ideas of the type of people that would be a good fit, but it continues to test my ads with all sorts of different people, and it will find people who are a better fit. And I won't even necessarily understand. Maybe in hindsight, I'll be able to say, oh yeah, that would have been a good audience for me to think of. But these people are a better fit, and we didn't necessarily tell the machine to chase it. And the people who are the media buyers, who used to be great at picking out audiences, are just adapting to what the tools now allow them to do. And actually, they are even more effective. And so it's best to think of this, I think, as AI is a tool. And it's a tool that's going to continue to get better. and don't necessarily think of it as a replacement for you as a copywriter. Think of it as a tool that you can learn to use. And I don't think you need to start using AI based on where the tool is at today. It doesn't hurt to be familiar with it. But I will say that, if you're in this game long enough, it's likely it's going to become a more and more important tool in your toolbox as a copywriter. And it won't replace you. It will only make you more effective at what you do. And so that's my thought. Certainly my thought is not quit copywriting. And that same kind of fatalism that friend, good pal, was putting forth is actually something that I see in basically every industry. And as of right now, in so many cases, it's fear-mongering. That's all that it is. And it's not a reason to stop doing what you're doing. It's maybe something to maintain some awareness of and to do a little bit of risk analysis of, but don't be afraid of it. And certainly don't think, oh, now I have to go find something else because AI is going to take my job. That's not going to happen anytime soon. And you have a lot of money to make from copywriting before that happens. All right. So don't forget, if you have a question that you'd like to have answered in an upcoming episode of Breakthrough Marketing Secrets, go to breakthroughmarketingsecrets.com/ask. That link is in the description. And if you want to write powerful copy far beyond what the AI algorithms are able to do today and will probably be able to do for a very long time, check out my free web class on how to create breakthrough big idea copy. Again, you can unlock 3 days of personal access using the link in the description. And the fundamental lessons that you're going to learn is number one, that every $1 million sales letter or highly successful advertisement is based on one of 3 big ideas. So you're going to learn what those 3 big ideas are. You're going to learn how to know if your big idea is any good before you even test it in the marketplace. And you're going to learn about the deep structure of highly effective sales copy. So you'll know what to say after you introduce your idea to take someone from just discovering your message all the way through to giving you money, to converting, to you making the sale. And yeah, check it out. It's free, and you can unlock 3 days access at that link in the description. Once again, I'm Roy Furr. This is Breakthrough Marketing Secrets. Every day with every episode, I'm here trying to help you grow your marketing genius one episode at a time. And I think the right perspective on artificial intelligence and how you might be able to use it as a tool and how you don't need to fear it replacing you is one way that you can manifest more marketing genius today. I'll catch you again in the next episode. Thank you once again for tuning in to this daily episode of Breakthrough Marketing Secrets. Remember, check out the links with this episode for even more value. Now make sure you like, comment, share, subscribe, and engage in every way you can to keep this show going and growing and delivering daily value to you. I'll catch you soon for your next big breakthrough.